So this slot in the MariaDB Server MiniFest December 2020 edition is an interview with Sunil Kamath from Microsoft. Hi Sunil and welcome.
Hi Kaj, nice to be here.
So I'll tell the audience a bit about the level of preparation here. The US just had Thanksgiving, so it took a while to set up this interview. And things are, of course, complicated a bit by time zones between Munich, where I am based, and where are you based, Sunil?
I'm based out of Seattle in Redmond.
Right, so coordination obviously wasn't trivial. And just when I had flown from Germany to Finland yesterday evening, I got the news that my daughter, who is soon a medical doctor, has tested positive for COVID. So today has gone all sorting out quarantine matters from me, since my daughter and me met a lot the last few days before I flew to Finland. And that's sorry about that, Sunil. That's why you haven't got any of the questions in advance.
No worries. That's very sad to hear. Hopefully she will become better soon.
I think she will. So you, the viewer, will see Sunil answering questions even more spontaneously than we planned, because I haven't shared any of the questions beforehand. But now let's go to the matter at hand. The topic for our MariaDB Server MiniFest is the release policy of MariaDB. So it's not about the functionality of MariaDB Server, it's about major and minor releases, how often we release them and how our users pick the releases and decide about their own upgrade policy. So Sunil, which versions of MariaDB is Microsoft using currently on Azure and elsewhere?
On Azure, we support multiple major versions of MariaDB, 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, and we're continuously looking to add more latest versions as customers keep asking us for those support.
Okay, so you haven't mentioned an old version like 10.1. Do you also go to the very newest one, like now we're on 10.5.8? Do you have 10.5 as well?
Yeah, I mean, we are actually working right now to add support for 10.5 as well. Again, I mean, we prioritize these decisions also based on our customer asks and needs, and we have started getting requests, and we are actually in the process of integrating and supporting 10.5 as well.
Okay, good to hear. So then what about the minor versions? Now, obviously, I know most about 10.5, and the 10.5 current release is 10.5.8. I forgot what the latest 10.4 is, and much less the latest 10.3 or 10.2. But we come now about once a quarter with a new minor release. Mm-hmm. Do you upgrade to all of them or just selected minor upgrades?
No, I mean, see, we treat minor updates quite seriously, because the principle behind the minor updates is bug fixes, security patches, etc. So we strive to patch or automatically patch minor versions within 3 months of it becoming generally available. So that's kind of the time period that we shoot for. But customers don't even know, right? So it's automatically, as part of our monthly automatic maintenance, we integrate with the new minor patches, and customers automatically get it. So they don't have to worry about the patching of the minor releases.
Okay, so it sounds like you have a schedule of your own. Once a month you do certain things, and right. Your goal is that the release of a MariaDB server won't be more than at most 3 months old, the minor release. Is that the case?
Most often that's the case. I mean, of course, depending upon the minor release, we go through extensive testing and making sure that the reliability, the performance, and resiliency is all rock solid and bulletproof, if you will. And sometimes we uncover bugs, sometimes we uncover issues, and that means that we got to go fix them and make sure that it is stable before we automatically patch every databases on the public cloud.
Yeah, so that you actually, anticipated one of my questions, or my next question. So what happens if when you test a new release that you encounter a bug? What do you do then?
Yeah, I mean, we of course have to fix those bugs. We work with the community. We either patch, we discover what needs to happen, and if it happens to be a bug in MariaDB itself, we work with the community, making sure that those patches are well understood and integrated into the open source release. And while that happens, we also have the ability to go patch it ourselves and make sure that we don't delay patching of those bug fixes.
So from your perspective, what's the optimal frequency for getting bug fixes or bug fix releases, shall we say? Is it like, would the release frequency, the current release frequency, unless there's some critical security bug or something like that, is one minor release a quarter for each of the major releases? So is that sort of too seldom or too often, or just about right?
No, I mean, see, there are, like, we classify the patching and the bug fixes into multiple buckets, right? So especially when there are day zero type of security vulnerabilities, we patch it immediately and make sure that our customer databases are patched and protected from those vulnerabilities. Otherwise, we have a monthly cadence where we push patches worldwide to all the regions where we operate the service. So every monthly cadence, we roll out patches, and that patches include new function. It could include new functionality, bug fixes in the infrastructure, and also, like, sometimes carries the minor version updates as well. So it's a much more like bigger payload. Of course, depends upon month to month, but our cycle of rolling out is monthly, so we iterate very, very fast through our CI/CD process.
So when you're looking at the current state of MariaDB server, specifically the current stability, so what's your hope for MariaDB's further development? Do you think that the focus should be on spending time to fix bugs primarily, or create new functionality? I mean, this is of course a balance, but where would you prefer the development to be seen, on fixing bugs or on new functionality?
Well, I mean, I see that there has to be a good, healthy balance of both. Of course, bug fixes is looking backwards, and new functionality is looking forward. And not to ignore the fact that the database is a lifeline for the application, right? It stores critical data, whether, like, you're hosting a website with MariaDB, and if there is an issue with MariaDB, the website is down, and there's a huge impact to the business. Or it's a large retailer that is running financial transactions against MariaDB database, and if that database is down, it's loss of revenue to that business. So stability, resiliency is super important. And also is important is performance, right? Like, as we ship new functionality, what is the performance expectations for using that capability? So like given, like, now we are in a cloud world, we also have realized, if you can contrast that with the past decades, where developers and the development cycle used to be more like a waterfall model, with a big set of changes getting released and rolled out all at once. The blast radius of the bugs was also pretty high. Right now, with continuous integration, continuous development, faster iteration, we can ship new functionality with higher quality at a much faster pace. And it also is leading to better, more stable as well, because the pull requests are much smaller in size, and then they're being extensively tested. Like it's a balance, I would say, Kaj. I mean, we have to have functionality as well as, of course, make sure that the functionality that is being pushed is of utmost highest quality.
Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to read between the lines there that you're saying that stability is hugely important and performance is hugely important, but you don't seem to be unhappy with the current stability or the current performance. So in that sense, I hear what you're saying or I interpret what you're saying as go right ahead and do more functionality. We're not terribly suffering right now. Is that a correct interpretation?
Well, I mean, it's a bit subjective. I mean, performance is a subjective topic, right? Because every application needs more performance. The more performance, the better it is for the application. So continuous focus on performance is of utmost importance. And then also the ease of getting that performance, right? How do you make getting that performance easy without having to configure and tune a bunch of knobs? Because like not everyone kind of understands how these different knobs work all together. So making that easy and simple to achieve the performance that developers need is something that I believe should be a continuous focus, and which I think there is definitely a room for improvement there.
Yep, I would agree. So this, I mean, I'm not saying that you are claiming that performance is perfect and ease of use is perfect. I'm more hearing that you're not worrying too much about stability. The level of bugginess is okay, but you can always improve how easy it is to set it up in such a way that you get performance, and that's of course an important focus area for MariaDB. So I see you nodding. Thanks for that. So then you were also touching a subject of what is quality? So I was going to ask you, what does quality mean for you? But you sort of already answered it. Quality means that you get something that is easy to use and that is performant and that doesn't crash. Is that your definition of quality of MariaDB server?
Partially, and let's not ignore security, right? Databases hold the most critical sensitive data. Security is something that is of utmost importance and is of the highest bar, if you will, and then comes performance, stability, and so on. Yeah, I mean, I think except for the security that you didn't mention, but yes, all those are the more core elements of how we define quality.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, so that's very clear. So then I have another sort of definition kind of thing. I can see some pull requests being portrayed as bug fixes because it was earlier, shall we say, bad specifications or crucially missing functionality. But I can see the very same pull request being not positioned as a bug fix, but as a new feature because it adds some kind of a capability. So the borderline between a bug fix and new functionality isn't always knife sharp. And the reason I'm saying this is that we need to have some kind of a guideline what one can do to a point release. So now we're on 10.5.8. What can we do to 10.5.9? And with what kind of functionality do we need to wait until 10.6, until the next major release? So what's your guideline there on what is acceptable new functionality or major bug fix in a point release, in a minor release?
Yeah, in a minor release, what customers care about is not breaking my application, right? That's most important, and making sure that we don't break any compatibility to the application, and also the new functionality doesn't expose new issues or further bugs. So Typically, we don't anticipate and expect, and this is also customers that don't expect a lot like new functionality in the dot release. Dot release is meant for bug fixes, security patches, essentially making the quality better. And it doesn't necessarily also mean that you cannot roll out new functionality. Yes, you can always roll out new functionality, but then do it in such a way that it is behind a feature switch, it is behind not in the mainline code, or with an optional capability to kind of turn on a knob to if developers want to test that functionality, but don't make it the default. So don't change anything in like default, and add new functionality in the minor dot releases, and keep the big functionality always in the major releases. That's what customers ask for.
Mm-hmm. Makes a lot of sense. So I'm not sure whether this is applicable specifically for your scenario, but what about backporting new features to old releases? Like a feature has become well accepted in 10.5, and then you have a customer on 10.4 who really would like to have this feature, but doesn't want, for usual reasons, the reasons of stability, doesn't want to upgrade to 10.5. They do want to stay on 10.4. So what's your view on such a scenario?
I mean, I think there will always be customers that would want that, and I think the best way to solve that is faster cadences for major release versions, and that's what many other open source communities have also embraced. Like for example, if previously it would take 2 years, 3 years for the next major version, now many open source communities are iterating faster with major updates coming like almost like at a yearly cadence. That's the right way or a model to think of in terms of pushing new functionality, so that we don't get into a situation of having to backport or support new functionality in the older releases.
Yeah, so the main provider of, shall we say, from a roadmap perspective of MariaDB service, of course, MariaDB Corporation, and their cadence is now what you say, once a year for the major release. So you would sort of advise against this backporting, and your recipe is don't backport, go with a new version, right?
If you want new functionality, go to the new version. That's the right model that works from both the step, like especially as we look at from the quality perspective, that makes the perfect sense.
Cool. So any advice to us on how to improve our quality? What's your, do you have a wish list for us?
Well, I mean, ease of achieving performance, and how do you and making sure that newer releases get like follow a model of smaller pull requests, making sure that there are robust continuous integration like testing tools, and as much as like I don't have any like top concerns around the stability of the latest MariaDB releases. Overall, I think it's going in the right direction, and if you are able to address the ease of use and ease to achieve performance, I think it would be a big step forward for MariaDB.
That sounds great. So I think we're nearing the conclusion of this. Any final words or other ideas? What did I not ask and should have asked you?
You asked a lot of good questions, Kat. I appreciate those line of questions, and I also appreciate the fact that you're raising a very important topic around quality. I'm glad that we are having this type of a discussion, because it's always a conversation about like this new functionality, this new capability, and quality, of course, doesn't get necessarily the same level of attention. I'm glad that I'm very, very happy to kind of see and witness the specific focus and an opportunity to come and share our point of view in terms of reinforcing that message about the importance of quality, and also how we could possibly look at making that better in the future MariaDB releases. So glad to be here with you today.
Great. Thank you for those kind concluding words, Sunil Kamath from Microsoft. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kaj.